Hey everybody, welcome to the Team Eat, Sweat, Pray team call. It's June 20th and we are jumping in today and we're going to be talking on the topic of Shakeology. I'm Cinda Glenn for those that don't know me, and we're just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I have a nice little PowerPoint that is not really that lovely, but it's there. Let me... Okay. I downsize that. Can everybody see that? Okay, can I get a thumbs up? Christy, you're the only person I can see right now, so yay. All right. And if you guys have questions, definitely stop me along the way. That's totally cool. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about Shakeology, and Shakeology is something I'm like ridiculously passionate about. Honestly, I'm kind of just passionate about nutrition in general and all of that wonderful stuff that goes with nutrition and just being healthy. Sorry, I don't know if I'm gonna minimize that. Maybe that's a little better. And if you guys are anything like me, I'm gonna apologize right now. I can't see any of you. So if you guys have something, put it in the chat box and I'll see that pop up. But if you guys are anything like me, like I'm a total nerd when it comes to this stuff. Like I absolutely love everything about like gut health, and really so much of what we do comes from our nutrition and how our body functions comes from it. And so I just am so passionate about it. So I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight about Shakeology, because it is seriously like when we say that it's your daily dose of dense nutrition, like it really is your daily dose of dense nutrition. All right, let me see if it'll... Okay, so first off, why do you drink Shakeology? And you guys, I want you to kind of take notes along the way, and I'm going to be asking you to give a little bit of spiel at the end. So I'm just going to prep you right now. You guys are all going to have to talk at the end. But why do you drink Shakeology? Does it make you feel good? Do you do it for the health benefits of it? Are you simply doing it because your coach told you to? I know there's some people that, I don't know, I guess the reason I started doing Shakeology was after doing a ton of reading. It was because what Kate suggested to me. But why do you do it? Like, what is your reason that you started it? And what does it do for you? I want you to really kind of marinate on those thoughts. And if you have little notes, you want to jot them down, go right ahead. So the point of what we do, you guys, is we're not salesmen, right? Like, I think a lot of times when people think of like Beachbody coaches, if they don't know us or they don't know about Shakeology or they don't know about our programs or anything, they think we're this like multi-level marketing company full of salespeople, right? And I think all of us on this call can agree that we probably would be like the worst salespeople. The thing is, like, I love this quote by Simon Sinek: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now, why do we do what we do? You guys, why do we do the programs? Why do we drink Shakeology? Like, you really have to dig into, like, we always talk about, like, you have to figure out your why for why you want to work this business. And there's always this inner why. Well, why do you drink Shakeology? Like, what is about it that you're like, this is awesome? I mean, is it the money-making standpoint? Because I know it's a taboo thing to talk about, but there's also that aspect. But is it because you have an autoimmune disorder like me? I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and this is helping me with my underlying health issues that don't maybe necessarily make a physical surface. So here's kind of the short of it all, and this is kind of the basics, okay? So did you know Shakeology is packed full of nutrition? Duh, I think we all know this, right? It's convenient. I mean, seriously, it's so easy to make. It's an inexpensive meal, though I have ran across quite a few people that would love to argue that fact with me. There's obviously health benefits to drinking it, and it complements our intense workouts so well. So that's really the short list of it all, you guys. So we're going to dive into the nutrition aspect of it. And like I said, I'm kind of a total nerd with all this stuff. I absolutely love nutrition and how it affects our body. I love it. But did you guys know that 80% of our results that our challengers get, that is coming from nutrition? You guys, 80% of it. Like, we can tell people till we're blue in the face, you need to push your workouts, you need to do all this stuff, you need to be more intense, maybe they need to do a harder program. Yes, all those things could be true, but if they're not dialing in their nutrition, they are not getting the results that they need. And that's partly where Shakeology comes into play. Like, that's part of helping them get their nutrition on board. And part of that is because our gut health is so important, you guys. Like, seriously, our gut health is absolutely like the number one component that's controlling our immune system. It is controlling our moods. If you guys do any research on the wonderful gut biome, this wonderful microflora that we have in our system that really truly controls so much of how we even think, you guys, it is so, so important. So in Shakeology, there's prebiotics in it, there's probiotics, there's digestive enzymes, all those things help our gut health get back to its normal state, because a lot of us don't have a normal state when we jump into something like this. A lot of, or I should say, a lot of our challengers, maybe you've been doing this for a little while and you've gotten your gut health in check, but a lot of our people that are jumping into these, their guts are not in check at all. It's also a multi-dimensional shake. So you hear people, I don't know how many times I've heard that, well, it's a protein shake and it's so expensive for a protein shake and blah, blah, blah. This is not a protein shake. Shakeology is not a protein shake. I feel like I could say it till like I'm blue in the face, but it's not. It's completely multidimensional. When you look at a protein shake is just that. It's protein. That is it. And if you have a protein shake that is strictly just protein and tastes good, typically there's a lot of sugars in there. There's artificial sugars. A lot of times there's different flavors put in them. There's all these different things, because you guys, protein isolated alone does not taste good. Like, it just doesn't. So this is not a protein shake. It has macronutrients. And now macronutrients are so important. Those are your carbs, your proteins, and your fat, your three big ones. And we want to have those in balance and check in order for us to have results, if we're looking to burn fat or whatever goals we're wanting to do. And different people are different. So some people need a few more carbs, some people need more protein, and some people need more fat. It just kind of depends on what your goals are with your body. But all of those things are in Shakeology. So it's not just protein. And honestly, if you were somebody that ate just one of these isolated macronutrients, you're not going to be very healthy. That's just all there is to it. You can't just live solely on carbs or solely on protein or solely on fat. You cannot do it. You have to have all of those different things. It also has your micronutrients. These are your antioxidants. And I apologize if I pronounce some of these words wrong. Your carotenoids, your phytonutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. All of those different parts are very key in our health and in our digestive tract and all of those different things. Because you guys, a lot of times when people say, well, it's this protein drink, they're looking at this one-dimensional thing that they can get cheap that does not have all the essential things. Shakeology is something that can actually be used as a complete meal. And it's also the building blocks of nutrition. It supports our immune system, it supports our health, it supports recovery. When we're working out and we're doing all these awesome things to help make our muscles strong and everything, and they're breaking them down, it's gonna help us recover faster too. So as we jump into this, and I've kind of started, I'm gonna really give you guys a few more details on Shakeology, just so you guys know. But remember, you do not have to be an expert with Shakeology. Like, you just don't have to be. What you need to know is why you drink it, how it makes you feel, and how to share that. You do not have to be an expert. You do not need to know every ingredient that I'm going to talk about tonight. You don't need to know really, you don't have to list any ingredients, period. But, oh, sorry, I'm getting a little feedback here. There we go. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. You don't have to be an expert. So don't feel like what I'm going to be talking about tonight is something you guys have to memorize. But I do encourage you to go and learn about this stuff and learn more about it, because first off, it's just interesting. You know, it really is. But you want to be able to be that person that people can ask questions and be willing to look up the answers. So when somebody asks me, well, why do I need probiotics? I want to be able to tell them, well, this is what probiotics are, and this is why it's good for you. So just kind of remember that you need to know at least the main points that I'm talking about. You do not have to memorize the ingredients list. And if this is not a way you talk, I think a really good tip that I learned at Summit this last year was you should never present something to somebody and rattle it off like you're this high expert with all these like wonderful details, if that's not how you normally talk. Now for me, I love these details, so I normally do talk in details to a lot of people. But if that's not you, if you're not one that's like, hey, I love looking at the back of labels and reading all the ingredients, don't feel like you have to memorize this. Don't do it. Do whatever comes natural to you when you're sharing. Okay, so some specifics here. What is up with all the mad cravings? Now, you guys, do we not have challengers like jump into these programs and jump into the stuff and they're like, my cravings are killing me. How do you guys do it? I hear these comments all the time. Well, first off, the processed foods that the majority of our challengers are coming in eating, it is so not dense in nutrition. Like there's a lot of times there's like very little nutritional value to it, period. So what it's doing is it's filling people up with volume, but it's not actually satisfying them. It's not actually meeting us at a cellular level that's actually making us feel fulfilled, and it's not giving us the nutrition we need that we can actually function. So a lot of times people can eat, I don't know, a bag of Doritos and they'll feel satisfied and it tastes fabulous, right? And a half hour later, they want some Oreos and they want to pop an hour after that. And like all of these different things that it makes us crave more and more, but it's not actually satisfying us. And we're not absorbing the nutrients a lot of times. A lot of times, you guys, we have been so conditioned to eat these processed foods that irritate our gut lining. They cause inflammation. A lot of people have gluten intolerances and don't even know about it. And their intestinal tract is getting irritated. It's starting to break down. And so we're not even absorbing a lot of these nutrients. A lot of times people don't even have enough probiotics in their gut lining or in their, I guess, gut biome is what I should call it, to actually absorb their nutrients. So when they are eating something like the rare broccoli or whatever it is, if they are the typical American, when they're actually eating those things, they're actually not even absorbing the nutrients because they're not able to absorb it. So how is Shakeology helping it? First off, it's getting back to the whole wonderful tradition of eating actual clean foods. So we are looking at something that is, they're taking foods that they're slowly dehydrating down, you guys. And I think this is something, if you take anything away from this whole spiel, I want you guys to know that the effort that they put into making sure Shakeology is what they say it is so key. Now, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about their checking system in a little bit. I have a quote from Darren Oline, who is the inventor of Shakeology. But they're getting this back to this tradition of whole foods. They're taking foods that they have tested like crazy, making sure the soil is of the right nutritional density to support the plants. And then they're looking at the actual plants and the different foods. And they do this slow dehydration process. Now, some of them, actually quite a few of them, are just laid out in the sun, and that's how they're dehydrated down, you guys. So it's very, very slow. And when you do a slow process like that, you keep as much nutrients as possible within the food. So not only are they, well, I'll talk about it. Sorry, I'm gonna get off track there. I'm gonna talk about the testing here in a little bit. But they do this in a way that they retain as much nutrients as possible. So they actually get that what's in the bag and what's all on the back of the bag that they say is actually in that. And it's really truly healing us from the inside out. Now I have this question on here, do we really need to drink it every day? This is a question I get from a lot of people, like, do you actually drink this every day? I'm like, well, sometimes I forget, but not very often. Like, yes, you really do. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. Like, yes, you could probably maybe brush your teeth once a week and maybe you wouldn't have the worst teeth in the world or whatever, but you have to do those daily things. That's how we maintain our teeth. You have to maintain your gut health. And we do that by drinking Shakeology every single day, okay? It's kind of like showering. All those wonderful things that we do to maintain, we have to do that for the insides of us too. All right, so now we're gonna get into some more of the specifics that, like I said, you don't have to memorize this, you guys. So antioxidants. We know that Shakeology has antioxidants in it. These are naturally occurring plant-based foods or they're found in naturally occurring plant-based foods like your fruits, your vegetables, your coffees, your teas, they're vitamins, selenium. There's lots of minerals that have antioxidants in them. And I'm not gonna read this list to you, but here's a list of the specific foods in Shakeology that our antioxidants come from. Oh, let me go back. For some reason, my other thing is not popping up. Okay. Antioxidants, you guys, are really important because they fight free radicals. Now, free radicals can be anything from things in our environment to things that maybe we're consuming, all those different things around us that actually will basically cause harm to our cells. These antioxidants actually will fight off those free radicals. All right, so there's also phytonutrients in Shakeology. Now, phyto means, it's a Greek word for plant, and these are the chemicals in the plants that actually protect the plant. So these are the things that protect the fruit from actually breaking down, protects them from the germs and the fungus and the bugs and all those other threatening things. And when we take those into our body, we actually get to utilize those wonderful properties as well. So it's really awesome, like how we can take in those foods that are fighting off these different germs and these different fungi. And when those type of things come into our environment or they get into our digestive tract, that fights it off. That helps keep us healthier. And once again, here are some of the things that we get our phytonutrients for in Shakeology. And what's really cool, you guys, about Shakeology is the fact that this stuff comes from all over the world. These are truly these superfoods from all over that I love how they like put it on one of the Shakeology podcasts. They're like, it magically shows up in a bag at your doorstep, because that's what it does. Like they spend sometimes years. The two new ingredients, you guys, I don't know if you listen to the podcast at all about Shakeology, but the two new ingredients that they just added, it took them 5 years to add those in. They wanted to do this for 5 years, but they are so specific on the quality and actually being able to maintain the amount that they need, that it took them 5 years to actually be able to put it into the formula. Like how crazy is that? Like that, if that gives you any idea of how detailed this project is. All right, so we also have some, oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna butcher this name. The carotenoids, I think is how you say it. I don't know. They're the plant. These are the things that give your plants like your bright pigments, like your reds, your yellows, those really bright hues, and they are what actually help your plant absorb energy for its photosynthesis. They've been linked with anti-inflammatory properties and also cancer-fighting properties. You guys, they're a class of phytonutrients. Excuse me. These type of phytonutrients, though, have been used for so many different types of cancer medicines and different things along those lines. And I don't know about you guys, I don't have a strong family history of cancer, but that doesn't mean I'm immune to it. I live in a farming community. My husband's surrounded by things that are known to cause cancer, you know, the different things that he works with. I think anybody that wants to fight something like that, they should be taking stuff like this in. Okay, so we talked about digestive enzymes earlier. Now, digestive enzymes are actually the little components that help break down the food. So different things like different proteins, they might be a little bit harder for our digestive tract to actually break down just by, you know, the normal microflora that we have there. But these digestive enzymes will break them down, so we're actually able to absorb them for the good properties they have. And it's also, there are a lot of things that you can't get in a traditional diet that you get through Shakeology, especially because stuff like digestive enzymes and the next things I'm going to talk about, like your probiotics and your prebiotics, those things often are killed off in the cooking process. So when you can take something in like Shakeology where there the stuff is and you don't have to cook it, you're actually able to absorb it a little bit better. And then here's a list. We have 5 main digestive enzymes is what we use in Shakeology. Okay, so your prebiotics and probiotics. I thought this was really interesting when I first jumped in. I think we've all have heard of probiotics, right? Like everybody talks about probiotics and culturelle and all these different things, but nobody really talks about the prebiotics. Now, prebiotics are really important and are one thing that they have in Shakeology, because this is actually what feeds our probiotics. Because we can put probiotics in our body, but if we don't have something that's actually going to feed these things so they propagate more, sometimes it's almost futile, you know, of actually doing that. So prebiotics are the food that feeds our probiotics, and probiotics are that good bacteria that we need in our digestive tract for us to absorb food. Now, a lot of times, you guys, some people are like, they're like, they hear the word bacteria, and I think they think sickness, they think disease, they think all these different things that's caused by these harmful bacteria. Well, you have to have good bacteria. If you look at our gut biome, our wonderful digestive tract, if you look at those, the cells and the little microbes in there, they outnumber our cells 1 to 10. Like, that's crazy. There are trillions in our digestive tract that we have to support in order to maintain a good, healthy immune system. And here's our one. We have the yuccan root and the chicory root, and I'm not going to pronounce that last one, but those are our 3 main sources of our pre and probiotics. Okay, so what all do these fancy words do? They heal our gut, you guys. like I've kind of said throughout all these slides already. really, truly, if we can get our gut in line and we can actually start absorbing our food better, it is amazing how our results turn around. Like, this is truly where our results come from, is from our gut health. So if you are talking to your challengers, and yes, you guys, people can be healthy without drinking a shake like this. They can be. But the average person is not going to eat whole foods all the time. That is where Shakeology comes in. It's simple, it's easy. They're able to take something in that you know is nutritionally sound. It's supporting your gut health when you're not exactly a Girl Scout, is how I like to put it. Because majority of our challengers aren't. Majority of our challengers still like to, eat in moderation with a lot of other things. And this is what helps get them back on track every single day. Okay, so this is a quote by Darren O'Neill, and I'm actually just going to read it right to you. So when I started reading through all of his stuff, and he is, I think, half hilarious to listen to when he's like spoken at Summit, but he obviously knows his stuff. But I started breaking this down and I was like, oh, this just doesn't make sense the way I was wording. So I'm like, we're just going to put a quote on here. So this is about how Shakeology truly does not compromise what they do. When Darren O'Neill, this would have been when Carl and Isabel Deichler, when I think they said on the podcast they were dating at the time. They weren't even married, but they had approached Darren about formulating this stuff for Shakeology. And Darren had actually talked to a different company about making Shakeology with them. But this other company put limitations on him. Like, they didn't want it to be like extremely expensive. They wanted it to be really well marketable and whatever. And Carl was like, I don't care what the price is. I want people to have the best of the best. What can you put together for us? And he was like, what? Like, that was so different than any other company he had talked to. So you guys, there's no compromising. They did not put a limitation on this because they knew these were things people need in their lives to be healthier and live just a better life. But they also have to have the testing behind it. And that is what this quote is about. So it says, we're testing the material in the country as they receive it. We test it. And when they say material, this is the food. So they test it through the process after they've audited, passed the test, and then the material is sent. So the food is then sent to the US where it's tested again. If it passes, then it can go on. And they test for the different things for the microbiology. They look for any heavy metals that could be in there. They make sure all the active compounds are in it. So those different prebiotics, the probiotics, your antioxidants, all those different things they're testing once it comes into the US too. Because a lot of you guys, like I said, a lot of these different foods are coming from all around the world. And then they also are looking for different quality assurance. They look at their teams. They do research and development in those countries. We are sending people over to those countries to make sure that our farmers in these other countries are doing what they say they're doing. We're making sure that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, that they're not using pesticides on them, that they're not doing any genetic modifying. They're doing all of these different things. And you guys, that's the integrity that our company stands behind. And you can read that obviously word for word if you'd like, but there is different tests that they do throughout the way. And then once they have all of the stuff all finally blended all together, they test it again before it actually goes in the bag. So if you can see, like, this stuff is tested, like, I don't know how many of you guys are in the medical field here, but as a nurse, this was so important to me because it's kind of like our chain of command when we're giving patients their medications. We have that chain of command of, the doctor's putting it in, the nurse is looking over what the doctor ordered, then the pharmacy is looking it over, then the nurse is looking over again. The nurse is often checking with another nurse to make sure, especially if it's a child, to make sure that the dosage, there's these constant checks to make sure we're doing things correctly. And I love that Beachbody is bringing something that intricate into the process, you guys, because a lot of other companies, they don't do this. A lot of other companies, when they're saying they're whole foods, they're also maybe dehydrating those foods at a high heat where it's breaking down the nutritional density. And that's not what Beachbody is doing. Okay, so is it really convenient? So here's my questions. How long does it really take you guys to mix your Shakeology? Because for me, I haven't timed it, but I'm pretty sure I could do it in less than 60 seconds if I really needed to. I probably take more like 2 or 3 minutes, but for the most part, I can throw a banana in, throw some ice and some water, my scoop of Shakeology, mix it for 30 seconds, and I'm done. Like, it's so, so convenient. So when people tell me that they don't have time, I kind of want to shake them and be like, you have time. You definitely have time to do this. As far as expenses, now, how many of you guys have heard that this is an expensive shake? I know I've heard it so many times. And when you look at the comparison of other shakes, yes, price-wise, it is more expensive. But if you look at the nutritional value, It is right on the money, you guys. So this just gives you a good breakdown of what Shakeology looks like compared to a wonderful, lovely coffee from Starbucks, which tastes amazing, but look how much sugar is in that latte, you guys. 45 grams of sugar. You guys, that is like almost double the amount that the World Health Organization recommends for the average American woman, or average woman, I should say, not American woman. That's a lot of sugar. And then look at the Big Mac meal. These are both more expensive than Shakeology, and they're not even providing a tenth of the nutritional density. And then this other one gives a monthly cost breakdown to Shakeology. Now, keep in mind, obviously, if you're from Canada, the prices are going to be a little bit different, and depending on what the taxes are in your area, it might be a little bit different, but this is a pretty good average cost. You guys, we break it down. If you get somebody on Home Direct, it's obviously going to be cheaper. There's savings on the shipping. That is awesome. And I always tell people, you can put this on hold. When they're on Home Direct, put it on hold, don't cancel, because obviously if they cancel it, then they're going to be paying the shipping again if they order it like every, once in a while or whatever. But if they put it on hold, you can put it on hold for 3 months. Like, that is so not a big deal. But obviously, if they can sign up as a coach, they're going to have the most savings. And you guys obviously know that there is the amazing benefit of you get to run your business. You get to have your own business. You get to be your own boss when you sign up as a coach, and then you can build more from there. But there's obviously good savings when it comes to becoming a coach. So health benefits, what exactly have you experienced? Have you experienced weight loss? Have you experienced feeling more energy, improved digestion and regularity, lower cholesterol, better skin, longer, thicker hair, improved nails, all those wonderful things, improved moods, less cravings? You guys, this was my short list of things that I put together. But I would love to know, what are you guys experiencing? What have you noticed? Do you have more energy? I remember coming home, we were helping, it would have been my cousin and her husband move. And I remember we had stopped at some place to eat, and the kids were like, we had been in the car for hours. They were so sick of being like cooped up. And I was like, let's play tag. And we're like running around. And I'm like, and this is like a year after I had started this journey with doing, the groups and all this stuff. I'm like, a year ago, I would have been so exhausted. I would have cringed if my kids had asked me to play tag. And I probably would have played a very poor, pathetical, like one round and been like done. I was the one running around them. And I'm like, this is crazy. I have so much more energy. And a lot of it is to do with the fact that I've gotten my health back on track and my gut back on track using Shakeology. And you guys, my hair and my nails are kind of out of this world. They're kind of crazy at how awesome they are. Okay, so obviously it's perfect to drink Shakeology at any time. Christy and I were actually just talking about this, that oftentimes we'll hear people make comments like, well, I'm not working out now, so I probably shouldn't drink Shakeology. Or, well, I haven't been eating right anyways, so it's kind of pointless to drink Shakeology. And I just want to be like, no, like, you should be drinking Shakeology all the time, especially if you're not eating right. Like, hello, you're not doing anything for your gut health at that point if you're not eating right. At least drink some Shakeology and try getting your gut back on track a little bit. But you guys, the challenge pack is seriously the trifecta of what we do. You guys, you get your nutrition, you get your fitness, you get the challenge packs, you guys, that gives them access to our support groups. And that right there is what gets them the success. It is truly everything you need right there. Okay, so how do you present Shakeology to someone that you want to inspire? What is your elevator pitch, as I would like to put it? Now, I think an elevator pitch should be under 60 seconds because when people ask me about Shakeology, I like to be able to send it over a voice message. Typically, I use Facebook messaging. But you should be able to keep that under 60 seconds. Nobody wants a bunch of long rambled messages, which I am really, really good at doing that too. But I have learned if you keep it under 60 seconds, they're actually going to listen to it and they're going to actually take the time to do that. Sometimes less is honestly more, and they can always ask questions. So really, I want you guys to think about, what is your elevator pitch? I have one more slide here. I want you to check out the Shakeology podcast. Just go on the podcast, search for Shakeology. It will come up. And I really want you guys to be encouraged to never stop being a student. We are always, always learning, whether it's about Shakeology, whether it's about this business, whatever it is, please don't stop being a student. All right, I'm going to stop my share here. And we are going to go around and we're going to give our elevator pitch, okay? Everybody excited? Who's nervous? Does anybody want to volunteer to go first? Christy and Kate, sorry.
I'm not going to lie. I had a warning that this was going to happen. So while Kate while Cinda was talking, I was writing it, and this is where my mind was blowing up. She shared such awesome information.
You're so
I
sweet.
don't remember what you said then, but my mind exploded, so I drew it. Okay, so this is kind of already, I tailored it, but I do the same thing Cinda does. So I just kind of have it in the back of my mind, but I already know I freaking love Shakeology. So I think when you can do it in a voice message, they can hear it, and it's even more believable than when you're writing it. But basically, this is what I wrote. So I said, Shakeology is seriously a kick butt nutrition shake that also tastes amazing. I have it every single day and have for the past 2.5 years, and I still love it. I can literally feel Shakeology running through my veins. And I say that all the time. If you've ever heard me talk about Shakeology, I can, like, it goes in my throat, comes up my fingertips, like the Beast or something in Beauty and the Beast. So anyways, and my hair and my nails are like way better. I have less cravings, and what did I say? Oh, and then I just love having a meal to support my nutrition. So kind of like Sindel said, I say a lot like, hey, I'm kind of lazy and I would rather eat lasagna for breakfast, like microwaved, than have like a normal breakfast that people eat. Like legitimately, it's either Shakeology or it's cold pizza. So that's the kind of stuff that I share with people because I want them to relate, like, I really suck at eating good, and Shakeology makes it super easy for me and supports all those things. So that's kind of a glimmer of what I do, but I really, really love it and believe in it. Obviously, 2.5 years later, my husband says it's like the most important bill we have each month is our Shakeology. So I've converted him anyways. So that's mine, kind of. I'm usually better at that than I.
Anybody else want to go next?
I can go. I don't have anything written down. So
I should have warned you too. I should have warned everybody. Like,
no, I like this though, and I love the idea of doing it in a voice memo. I don't do that now, and I think that just would give so much more like personalization to it, right? Mm-hmm. For me, Shakeology has been like such a game changer in my health completely. I used to always struggle with being anemic. And I think a big reason was because I wasn't absorbing the nutrients properly because, I mean, my diet was awful. I was addicted to like chocolate, sugar, cravings like that. And when I started drinking it, I totally thought it was going to be a gimmick. But I noticed a change after 30 days. And the energy that I got from it, I no longer struggle with anemia. And for me, to be able to drink like a chocolate shake that tastes like a milkshake is like hands down number one. One of the reasons why I drink it, because it tastes amazing and I'm getting the nutrition that I need that there's no way I can get that anywhere else in my diet, especially in America and living in a city where you can have everything at your fingertips. So I need to mastermind a little bit, but more my personal story on it.
anybody else want to share? You don't have to give your elevator spiel right now if you don't want to. You could just simply share how it's helped you, even. Don't make me pick somebody. I hate being like the mean person. Shelly, you unmute.
I'll go. I'll go. So I was just talking to my sister about this yesterday because she's thinking about it. And so I was just telling her how it's helped me, and as far as cut my cravings and I feel more energy and just knowing that I get all those nutrients right away. And I always have it for breakfast. So it just kind of sets my day off right when I have that and then get my workout in and then I'm good to go for the day and just kind of sets it on the right track. So I don't really have an elevator spiel yet, but I was just telling her kind of how I like it and how it's helped me and stuff like that. So yeah.
That was perfect. And I think that was even under a minute. Like that's exactly what you guys do. Like you want to legitimately say how it's helped you. And that's it. Less is more. Who wants to go next? Sarah, I know you're itching too. Your little one's so cute. Oh, here, I'll unmute you.
Okay, I don't know how to do this. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on my phone and I don't really know how to do it. I guess I would probably say that it's kind of one of those like no-brainer things. I think when you're a mom and you've got well, when you're anyone actually, and you've got all of these things to think about in life, it's kind of like, why wouldn't I do that? It's easy. There's not a lot to think about, and it's just, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer, easy meal where I can get it in my body, and I know every single thing I put in is good for me, and I don't have to think about it, and then I can keep going. And I guess, I mean, I'll work on my spiel, but to me, at this stage in my life, it's one less thing for me to think about. So I like that aspect of it.
These are awesome spiels. I'm stealing all of your guys'.
I know, I love it.
Okay, is this a little boy or girl? I'm sorry. I like can't stop looking at this baby.
This one?
Yes.
This is a girl. This is Sydney.
Mine's a thumb sucker too.
All three of mine are thumb suckers.
Tell me it ends sometime because my 2-year-old or my 3-year-old is terrible. Okay, off topic. Hey, Christy, do you want to go next? You have a little lady too. You look so tired.
Oh, another little baby.
I'll do it quick. So the thing for Shakeology for me is that I feel like it's helped my junk food. I have really that I'm so glad it tastes like it really does. It tastes good, and so it's like I drink it in the afternoon, so it's like my afternoon snack. So just curbing my junk food cravings and just getting in all those nutrients. Yeah.
I love that. That's perfect because that's what we need as moms. Okay, last one up. Jessica, right? I'm going to blank on names. It's Jessica, right? Yes? I'm going to unmute you. Okay.
Can you hear me? All of a sudden I can't really hear
Oh,
anything.
there you go. We can hear you now.
Can you guys hear me? Because I can barely hear you. It sounds like you're in like 20 miles away from me.
Can you hear me better now? Would you like to give your little elevator spiel?
Yeah. So,
were you just working out while you were listening to this? Sorry, I'm totally interrupting.
No, that's okay. I just can barely hear anything. Let me put my earplugs back in, see if it helps. Okay, can someone talk?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you better now. Basically, kind of what I've told a few people is that the Shakeology is that dense nutrition, and I suck at eating vegetables. I don't always make really poor choices, but I'm really good at eating fruits and proteins. I have a high protein diet and fruits, but vegetables I completely suck at. So that's what I really like about Shakeology is I know that I'm getting those nutrients that I'm not getting elsewhere from those plant-based items that I don't really particularly care for. And that since, I was at first really I thought it was kind of a gimmick thing, and I thought that really can't be that great. But about 20 to 25 days in, I started to really notice the difference, and I noticed right away that I wasn't bloated as much anymore, and I was becoming really regular, a lot more than I was before, and I just felt better. I had more energy. And then I also had noticed that when I was PMS was way different. I didn't get really crampy and things like that. So those are kind of some things that I've shared about Shakeology and why I like it. And then also, like others have said, I love that it's like a chocolate shake. So chocolate milkshake, and it's healthy.
Love that.
Can I just share one thing before I forget? Especially because we have some new coaches on here. For some people, and Sindel could probably talk more on this because she's kind of an expert. I think so. But for some people, one scoop is too much right away, and their digestive system can't handle it because there's too much probiotics, right? They're not used to handling that. Right?
And a lot of fiber. Some people aren't getting the right fiber in too.
So if you do hear that, don't let them just quit. Tell them to kind of just do a half of a scoop. And I've had quite a few challengers that they've just had to go into it that way, and then their body adjusts and it works great. So anyways, I was just thinking about that because I think it's so important because especially if their nutrition was so poor before coming into it.
That is such a good point, Kate. I didn't even think about that one. The other one that I forgot that I didn't make a slide is, you guys, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Like, that's something I keep. So here's my elevator spiel. I feel like I should have my phone like up here because this is how I give my elevator spiels. But I'm always like, okay, so Shakeology is this crazy drink that I thought was just this weird thing. And here 2.5 years later, I'm still drinking it every day. And it's not a protein drink. Like I always tell people that I'm like, this is not a protein drink. A lot of people want to think that it's a protein drink, but it's not. It's a whole food, dense nutrition shake that is truly a complete meal. It has your prebiotics in it, your probiotics. Prebiotics are the good things that feed the probiotics, and the probiotics are what help you actually absorb your nutrients. And you need that in your system. A lot of times we don't have that in our system, and it is truly like one of those things that makes you feel so good. It gives me energy. It keeps me going when I have 4 kids to chase around, and that's what I need. It's easy, convenient. I need something that's less than 60 seconds to make for this busy mom. And then I'm usually like, does that sound like something that would be interesting to you? Like I usually always end it with a really simple question, and are you still on board? Like something like that, depending on where you're at in your conversation. But it's, you guys really, everything you guys said is like what I say essentially. So when we go like, oh, here's your elevator spiel, I know all of you guys were like, I don't really have that. You do. Like you just did it. Like, and you did it perfectly. So any questions, thoughts, concerns? I know this was a pretty simple topic for tonight, but.
I thought it was great. I was just going to add one other thing while we're just talking about the basics of Shakeology too, is that Beachbody will trade your flavor out. Like if your customer can't decide what they want, I mean, remember that there's a lot of options and packets where they can mix it up. But if they don't like it, Beachbody will exchange it like up to 2 times in a month. I think I've heard people exchanging it. And they don't ask questions. They're like, oh, you don't like it? Okay. We'll send you a new kind. Like it's pretty cool, actually.
We really
I'm just getting chocolate.
I have a question. As far as the 30-day money-back guarantee, like how does that work? Like they use it for 30 days, and if they don't like it, then they'll just send you money?
Yep, they do have to have I hate to call it a complaint, but that's, I don't know, they have to have it in within 30 days of when they purchased it, or when they is it purchased or received?
Purchased.
So within those, were you going to say something, Kate? Sorry.
I was going to say, don't they have to send the bag back?
I think they do. Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't, but it can be empty. It's bottom of the bag. So it can be empty, but they have to send like proof that they
actually
Okay.
No one ever does that though, because it's awful.
And that'd be really disappointing if they did. Because if
I
they're
hope not.
drinking it every day, they're gonna, I mean, unless they got sick or like something really, that happens. That does happen. So
I have a coworker that just bought Shakeology, and so she was kind of worried about it though. So I feel like just telling her this, it'll make her feel better. So we'll see.
And tell her to give, you should give it a full 30 days for it to really have the full effect that it needs to. But even if she's like, I don't know, like tell her you have to give it at least a week, because I know it took my gut digestive tract a full month to really get in line. And I know when I first started, like I had heard like, oh, give it a week or so. And I was like, mine took way longer than a week. And now I think we all hear around like a month is really when that gut just kind of gets back in check and you're more regular. Some people will experience diarrhea right away. Like I don't want to say that's normal, but it is common when you're adding that much more stuff into it, and just tummy issues in general. But those things should subside for the most part in about a week. And then you might be just kind of lingering for those next couple weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
I think too, if they say that they've had issues with other protein drinks, like one thing that it's something I've been dealing with a lot lately. I feel like in people saying like, nah, protein drinks make my stomach hurt. That's where vegan Shakeology is going to be a better option for them, that a lot of shakes don't have, because they're probably having a reaction to the whey. So I would just as a reminder, something about Shakeology, but I love that you just reminding yourself like why you drink this every single day. Like, why am I drinking this amazing thing?
You guys, and I know since quite a few of you on here are new coaches, like I know, and Kate and Christy, you guys can probably relate to this too. Like I went through a period where I was like, do I really need to have people on this? Like, do I really do they? And really, truly the honest answer is no, they don't. Like I said it in my spiel, they don't have to have this drink to be healthy. But if they're going to eat, like the majority of people are not going to eat the way they need to in order to actually be healthy if they were taking Shake, be as healthy as they would be taking Shakeology. And most people just don't have access, and it would be so much more expensive because the amount of food that they put into Shakeology is crazy. And people just aren't going to get all those other phytonutrients and those different things with just the typical diet. Like this was formulated to be that missing link that most diets don't have. Like this is what was formulated for. So obviously you don't have to have this, but at the same time I watched my challengers do challenge groups, and the people that were doing Shakeology got results. The people that didn't get results, you guys. And or they would maybe lose a few pounds, and then it was back on the next month, and then like they just didn't. And I feel like that's one thing I tell with my challengers right away, because I get a lot of questions about like, well, can I be doing Herbalife or can I be doing whatever? And I'm like, I've had people in my challenge groups doing Herbalife. I've had them doing whatever other shakes they want to do, and they didn't get the results. So to me, I'm doing a disservice to you as a challenger. That's what I tell them, that to do to you as a challenger by not providing you with the best resource. And you have 30 days. You hate it, send it back. That's okay.
And can I just, because you kind of talked about other shakes, like if sometimes people will ask, that question about another shake, and you don't have to be well versed in like isogenics or any of that. All you have to share is, I'm not very familiar with isogenics, but this is what I know about Shakeology, and this is why I like it. So don't ever feel like you have to be like this person who knows about every single shake, or this one has more calories, this one has more sugar, like all those things. Just share what you know about Shakeology, and that unless you're very familiar with the other brand, that you're not very familiar with it. Has it worked for you in the past? I like to ask that, because they're looking for something else. And then just share what you know about Shakeology too.
I love that. I love how you put that. How has it worked in the past? I don't know if I've ever asked somebody that. It's really good, Kate. I like that.
I always remind them that they're talking to me, and that the difference between Shakeology and anything else is me. So
I love that.
With me, or you can hang out with what's her butt, but
right.
I'm cooler.
I totally choose you.
Thanks. Me too.
Anything else, ladies? Thank you guys all for jumping on, especially with your little ones. Mine's starting to fuss. I'm gonna go feed her and put her to bed. So thank you everybody for jumping on. Everybody have a good night. And
thanks, Sindel. Great call.
talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.